also have a clean glove and a dirty glove, but it doesn't matter. I'm getting ready to do a quick varnish job with Liquitex high gloss varnish, and I'm almost at the end of my bottle. This will get me a couple of coats on here. Then I'm going to do something fun on another video. This canvas had some OGX coconut milk that gives us big cells, and I have cleaned it off with Dawn dish liquid, and so there's no greasy, oily residue, but even if I don't see any, I still clean it. What you're seeing in the light, like dull and high areas, like up here, down here maybe, right there, that's just thinned out paint with Oatrol that gives it a shinier look, and then areas where maybe the color bled into it, and so there's some variation, but that's not from grease or oily residue. Today is September 6th, and this sponge brush has been in a bag for at least a week or more. I keep my sponge brushes in a bag and keep them saturated with the Liquitex, and I don't rinse them out, and I just make sure it's not crunchy because I don't want to leave anything crunchy in my finish. I also heard that people use a gloved hand to spread their varnish around, and that might be something that you could do. So basically, on my first coat, I work as quickly as I can to cover the whole surface as quickly as possible, because this is water-based varnish. It dries very quickly. So all I'm doing is spreading it around, and then you've even seen me do this where I scrub, and you can do that as well. People mention bubbles. This actually helps, alleviate some of your bubbles. So you can even scrub in the first coat if you want to, just like this. Just make sure you hit all your flat areas. You can kind of see it in the light to know that you've gotten it everywhere. But this kind of self-levels just by itself right from the beginning. So that pretty much took care of that first coat. And then I just go around my edges really quick to make sure they're sealed. Like I said, I have about 2 coats, maybe 3 left in this bottle, and I'll need to get me another one. And I generally order it from Jerry's Artorama, Dick Blick, Utrecht, those kind of places that are the cheapest on Liquitex products by far. Cheaper than like Michael's and Hobby Lobby, unless you have a great coupon, but you can't find a big bottle like this in Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's just really expensive. So that's why I do the online thing for the high gloss varnish. So I have my first coat on, and you can see a little bit of the circular motion, but it will level out. But it's a nice glossy coat right now. It'll level out as it dries. You have bubbles, you can even drop your canvas just like this on a hard surface, and that makes those bubbles pop. I'm also going to do this one here. threw my bag down in the foil pan that had some metallic paint. So I've got to make sure not to get that on anything. So I have one other Minwax 1-coat polyurethane. This is water-based. Completes projects 3 times faster in just 1 coat. Easy water cleanup, clear gloss. I'm going to take this canvas and I'm going to try just pouring this polyurethane straight onto this canvas and not applying it with a brush. And this is obviously a thicker polyurethane. It's also made to do over wood. So, you know, we'll see how this does. I've already tried it with a sponge brush, and it didn't come out as beautiful as I thought it should. So we're going to try it straight out, pouring it. And before I do that, I'm going to sign my sides. This one was not signed yet. That's what the permanent marker. I'm going to zoom in for you. And I'm going to pour. I don't really know how much I need. And I had something in the very top of that, I noticed. See, it's super thick. So I'm going to take my gloved hand and try this. And it's really thick. This is so much thicker than like Liquitex high gloss varnish. It's actually thicker than the Minwax polyacrylic, which is more watery like Liquitex high gloss varnish is. So I am just spreading this around with my gloved hand. It also smells, but that's something that's pretty typical of polyacrylic, Minwax. That smells as well. So this 1-coat polyurethane, I'm not surprised that it smells. So I don't have any bubbles, I can say that. It is super, super thick. Okay. Okay, I do have a bubble. You can blow on them. If you don't want to put heat on it, blow on it. And if you see a thin area, just stick your finger in some polyurethane and drip it on there. Just like I would do with resin. Even though I've only used resin a few times, you can kind of drip it in low areas and it'll just level out. So if you need to blow because of bubbles, drop your canvas a few times and that will level out your stuff. And actually, this looks good wet. I have no clue what it will look like dry. But right now at wet, it looks pretty darn good. But it's also super thick. So I'm going to put this aside to dry, and it is cloudy. It will dry clear. I'll put this aside to show you later on, and everything is dry. And you'll get to see me do a second, maybe a third coat on the fish as well. And I'm just going around the edges because I don't want drips on the underside of the canvas. This canvas is, I want to say 11 by 14, 9 by 11, 11 by 14, 9 by 12. It's longer than 12, maybe not, I don't know. There's a hair. Pull it out. All right. We're going to let this sit and dry. Again, this is one coat polyurethane by Minwax, clear gloss. Supposed to be able to use it in one coat. Okay, it's time to throw on another coat of the Liquitex high gloss varnish over this fish. It's had several hours to dry and it's ready for another coat. So I'm going to put it pretty generously and go as quickly as I can. Only in one direction though. The first time I kind of scrub it on, the second, third coats, I always go in one direction. So I'm going horizontally, and then when I do a third coat, I will go vertically. And this assures that you don't have all brush strokes in one direction if you have any brush stroke lines that are left over. But if you put it on fairly thick, and I'm going one direction and just very lightly skim over that surface, but you've got to have enough varnish on there that it allows your brush to go softly and gently. It's not lagging behind and it's not leaving a trace of anything, like where it's lifting up varnish. So I've got enough in my bottle to do one more coat. This is a good way to get rid of bubbles. You can even blow. You can shift even a little bit. If there's like a line or two, you can kind of gently shake it and shift it, and that'll kind of fill in some gaps. That's a pretty good coat right on the second coat, but I'll probably do one more coat after this. So I'm going to put it aside to dry. I didn't realize this was not done with my microphone, so hopefully you can hear me pretty well. I'm doing the final coat on the fish. It's got two coats, and I'm going to do one more on this beauty. So this is everything left in my bottle. And always go thicker with each coat so that you can lay out a nice layer really quickly. So I had gone horizontally, now I'm going vertically. The first time I scrubbed, the second time I went across, and this time I'm going this way. So you do it very quickly, and then you do it with a very light touch, taking it off of the edges of the canvas in both directions. Like here's a puddle, so you just move it. go back and if there's any spot you missed or you see extra bubbles, you just go back. And then make sure to get your edges. And I have paint underneath the canvas so I can't bang it. So I can even blow. And I'm even going to put a heat gun on low. So that got rid of most of the bubbles. So you can see it's cloudy, and I'll show you the dried product when it's done. Okay, so I am wanting to show the results of the Liquitex High Gloss Varnish. So I'm trying to get it at an angle where you can see the grain of the canvas, but you don't see brush strokes. It's really, really glossy. And that is 3 coats. So it's not like glass, like resin would look, but 3 coats of Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, which is this one, which I love to use. This was my trial pour. I poured on and rubbed it in with my gloved hand. This is 1 coat with Minwax 1 coat polyurethane. This is water-based. It's called 1 coat. It's supposed to be 3 times the protection in 1 coat. So, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I poured it on this canvas, and it's pretty glossy. But it was super thick. There's some areas like, can you see right there? There's a little bit of a dent because it's so thick, and there was a low spot. And so you can see some of the texture of the paint, but it's actually very thick feeling, and it is pretty glossy. It's just you see a little bit more texture as opposed to this one where you just see kind of the grain of the canvas. I've got the reflections of the window, sorry about that, but that's the results of 3 coats of Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, and this is Minwax 1 coat that I poured on and rubbed it in with a gloved hand. This one was done with a sponge brush. So I just wanted to show you the final results of the dried pieces. Thank you.